welcome into the mindfulness. No, I'm slightly backlit in this studio, so pardon the wash over my face if you can't quite see me clearly. Maybe I'll come to a slightly lower level just to get us going. This is going to be a practice of the Tai Chi short form, the Yang style of Tai Chi Chuan. I recently, or somewhat recently, back in June, I graduated from a program that I was lucky enough to be a part of and get my certification as a Tai Chi teacher. I know on this channel I've been doing lots of yoga, meditation, that type of practice, and here's just another mindful tool that we can use to have a moving meditation. That's how I like to think of Tai Chi a lot. And the short form is a perfect kind of quicker meditative experience than it might be to, sit down, get yourself comfortable, find that quietness to settle into. But with Tai Chi, it's something that you can kind of do wherever and whenever. So I hope that either in your home or in your office, wherever you might be joining me from, that you can clear yourself a bit of space. As you can see, my studio's pretty tiny, but I have about 5 or so cases of space to work with. And you'll certainly see, especially as I get used to teaching from this space, that I might adjust my footing here and there, and I'd encourage you to as well. If you find that you're running out of space and can't quite lunge out this direction, you can always take that back foot mindfully backward rather than taking that lunge out to a place that is maybe occupied already. So, with that as a little bit of our spacing, a bit of grounding for our practice, we'll briefly do some opening warm-ups and then get right into the practice of the form. As a reminder, this isn't an instruction through the form, but rather a practice tool for those that are already somewhat familiar with the form. And maybe at a later date, I'll do a kind of step-by-step breakdown of the form, but certainly knowing that some folks from my public classes, my in-person classes, might be joining me here in the online sphere to continue practicing. This will be a tool for those practitioners who have already started their Tai Chi journey. Do let me know, though, in the comments or in the chat if more is needed. I can get back to that at a later date, but hopefully as we settle in for a run of the Tai Chi Chuan, we'll gift ourselves a moving meditative moment. But do what you need to do to find yourself, maybe get some water or tea in you before we officially begin, and we'll dive in. Settle yourself into a nice steady stance, even footing, You hear my floor squeaking a bit. Maybe yours will be too. I hear about parallel in your feet, about hip width, no wider apart than that. We'll find that equal stance. You can allow the bones to stack up from the feet, through the softened knees, up the legs and into the hips, settling down with gravity. And bring in some buoyancy along the spine. Might even sway the heart a little bit to keep some freedom in the torso. A little space underneath the armpits. Letting the hands surrender to gravity. The shoulders as well, as that spine continues to bubble up. And the head lifts you towards the sky. The gaze can stay even or low as we feel into some warm-ups here. We'll start by just shifting our weight forward and back. Letting the toes as well as the heels spread across the earth, remaining connected, remaining rooted through the whole of the soul. And those knees continue to be soft and receptive. Eventually invite a little sway from right to left, just in the feet, letting the weight pour from one side to the other. This bamboo swaying in the wind. You can now take that weight around in a circle, or a gentle figure eight. Becoming present throughout our body, our balance. Eventually you can become more and more subtle in the motion and find your way back towards a central channel. Nice, even, equal stance. Wonderful. Now we'll take our stance a little wider, keeping that mindful grounding through the feet. Let's pour our weight into one leg, rise up through center, straightening both legs, and then pour the weight into the other as that knee softens and bends. If you find yourself staring down at your feet, all good. But when you have the confidence and stability to maybe lift that gaze a bit, and look out into the space before you, and just aid in engaging that proprioception, that comfortability as the body moves. Wonderful. And finding your way to an equal stance here. Legs can remain slightly farther than our previous stance. And let's give ourselves a wiggle. Shaking the arms, shaking the legs, nodding the head, shaking it no. And give yourself a little brush through the arms and legs. Maybe down around the head. Wonderful. And let's get into this practice of the short form. I'm still figuring out our camera angles and things, but I think what will be easiest to begin, and for our first iteration at the very least, I'll be turning around, and that way you can follow rights with rights, lefts with lefts. But in the future, I may do a mirrored practice where you can see the front body a little bit clearer. But at least to get us going in these practices, I'll turn around, we'll take a moment to settle, and then I'll cue us very quietly, just a few cues of each motion. Not a whole lot of detail for today, but mainly the names of our positions to get us through this practice. You may wish to be slightly centered in your space so that you have enough room to go both right and left through our practice. Let's find that equal stance once again with the feet parallel and just below the hips. Knees are soft and receptive here. Let's take a breath. And we'll begin. Turn to the right and step out for grasping the bird's tail. And grasping bird's tail to the left. And step out for ward off. Single push, single push, double push, hold the circle, and single whip. Diamond overhead, and pick up your loot. Big scoop, and step to the left, to the right, and open the bird's wing. One brush knee push, And fist the hand. Collect and prep for twisted step. And punch. Brush under the elbow. And double push. Diamond overhead. And carry the tiger to the top of the mountain. Walk in opposition. Single push. Single push. And double push. We close the phrase. A single whip. And then our snake. We ride the crane to the 7 stars. And prepare to ride the tiger. Big turn, riding the tiger. And pick up the lotus flower. Shoot out the arrow. And prep for twisted step. And punch. Brush under the elbow. And double push. Closing out the form. And carry the tiger. Staying low in our stance. Release the arms and extend the legs, following the head up to the sky. You can bring yourself together, right hand in a fist, and the left is gently wrapped around the front of the knuckles. Our symbol of lunar and solar energy coming together. Here in the center we stand. The chi within us enlivened, so we can live broadly and brightly and extend that universal chi to all others and everything. I thank you. Lovely. That concludes our practice of the short form. I'll come to my lower level again. I hope this practice was nourishing. As I said, in the future I may make some additional videos or do some special live programming to break down each of those sequences through the short form. As you can see, it's only about a 5 or so minute practice, so it's very digestible and really easy to fit in as a break in your day, or a nice way to wind up or wind down. But however you've chosen to enjoy this practice, I hope it served, and I'll see you around next time. Peace.